Mel, welcome and thank you for taking the time to give us a bit of insight into your business model. But feel free to just introduce yourself and tell people a bit about your background because it's not exactly typical design business by itself.
Cool. So I'm Mel. I have a Bachelor of Design from New York University, and I had been working as a designer for probably about 10 or 15 years before I came across this program. But I moved into the space of web design. So I was doing more like development and things like that. And in the last couple of years, I pivoted more to work more with people in the healing and wellness community. So when I discovered your program, it was amazing because like you were teaching us how to vertical scale. And up until that moment, I had been in every direction, like jumping on everything that moved. So that really changed the way that I approach my business. And I had been like an entrepreneur for probably about since I was 16 technically, but not a successful entrepreneur because again, I was like moving in too many different directions. So your program actually really I remember after the first call with you, I was like, this guy's going to change my life because the way that you spoke about things, it got through to me and it really made a lot of sense. It wasn't just like a lot of like metaphors and stuff like that, like just try harder. It was like legit advice. And I was like, wow. So when I got into your program, it changed my business entirely. It changed the way I looked at my business. And it also gave me a lot of confidence because I had been kind of like a hope for the best, an optimist and positive thinking, but that never really took traction in a way that was predictable. And what you taught us was like really predictable. And I was starting to see results immediately. I set myself like tier 1, 2, and 3 goals. And I think by the third month, I hit my tier 3 goal. I was exhausted, but I'd hit it. So everything you were teaching was like really effective. And then I took what you taught and I applied it to a secondary business model where now what I'm doing is essentially I'm working with a partner to kind of build like a low entry fee product for my market anyways. And the idea there is that we can hopefully solve many, many, many people's problems with one product. And then beyond that, anybody who wants to scale up, we're going to work with on an independent basis. And that's where everything you're teaching us in terms of like proposals and delivering value and identifying problems, that's where that's coming into play. So that's where I'm at right now.
Love it. There's no better model than an ascension model, but we'll get stuck into that. And I think after the interview as well, I'll just have a quick chat about how we can continue that conversation. But like, take me through where you feel like you were in your design business the minute that you came in. So like, what were the major kind of gaps or the areas where you knew I could be sharper here that made you move forwards, I suppose?
So I think so prior to getting into the program, I had been kind of in like a bleeding sword state where I knew that I had a lot of value to offer the market. And I was, I think, pretty good at identifying opportunities, but I was like bleeding myself out because I felt bad charging for the work that I was doing. You know what I mean? I was identifying really easy markets, like I guess, quote unquote, low hanging fruit. And then working with you and seeing other people in the program that like just had no qualms with earning more money and identifying that they can deliver more value to the market in more meaningful ways, that really helped shift things for me. So I stopped aiming for the low hanging fruit and I started being like, okay, there are people out there that are at this level that want people at this level. So I kind of like rose my standards to that level. And it was a complete game changer. Like I got up in the morning, I had a really clear idea of like, okay, these are the people that I want to work with now. Nothing against the people I had been working with, but there are people with fire in their bellies too, and people who are trying to get stuff done in the world. So I re-identified those markets and I started solving their problems and developing more value for them. And it was like a game changer. So that was super helpful.
Take me through the format, like what content has resonated with you the most, and potentially what format of the program do you value the most? Like obviously we've got the training program, the group calls, the one-on-one, the Facebook group, Facebook Messenger.
You got value all over the place.
What platform do you feel like is like the sweet spot for you? And then like what content do you feel like you've connected to the most?
So for me, your courses were like the big deal for me. And what I really, really, really love about your program that I've told everybody about is that you didn't just go at it from a business angle. You looked at it from like a holistic, like life angle. Like in order to get your business right, you need to get your body right. You need to get your mind right. You need to get your everything else right. And I consider myself fortunate because I'd recognized that maybe 2 years prior to finding you. So I'd taken my entire life and I started getting better sleep. I started looking at my nutrition, I started looking at all these ways that my energy was being diffused and that I couldn't put it into my business as effectively. And you like really laid down the foundation for that, which is unlike anything I've ever seen in the market. Like there's a lot of really great people, Tony Robbins and everybody out there that's a freaking guru in their own right. But I've never seen anybody approach it like that, which I thought was like, again, a game changer for me, because any areas that I wasn't being efficient, if I was a house and I was heating my house, you helped me identify areas that I maybe was like, letting heat out. So I couldn't be as effective in my business. So the way that you did your program in videos, that was really helpful for me because I do have a very full life. And anytime that I'm on the road, I would live in a rural area. Anytime that I'm in the road, I would turn you on and I would just like absorb and like osmosis information. So that was super helpful for me. And then also your tone, like you're like, I mean, you're nice about it for sure, but you're also very like direct. So you're like, listen, if you want to get to the next stage, you just need to sit down and do this thing. Like stop right now, go back and do the homework, which was a light bulb moment for me too. Cause sometimes I can get in a habit of just taking in information and I'd like to think I apply it, but you stopping and being like, go do this exercise. It actually hung me up for, I think, 2.5 weeks when I first started the program doing the figure out your why or something. I knew my why energetically speaking, but I couldn't necessarily put it to words. So that hung me up for probably 2 weeks and I was really hard on myself about it. But when I finally did it, it was like the levee opened and I was like, okay, I'm good from here. So, and then the group calls and stuff are super helpful. Schedule wise, they don't always work out for me. But it was nice that if I ever got in my own head or something, I could hop on those calls and like listen to other people and how they're approaching these problems. Because I mean, they're super valuable too, right? When you have people of a certain ilk who are trying to solve problems together, it's really valuable. And also the one-on-one calls with you. Like I don't do those as much as often anymore, but anytime that I had like a problem I couldn't solve, it was really nice because you were the person in my life I could go to that didn't give me like panhandling advice, like I had a question, I talked with you about it and you're like super in it with me and like you helped me figure out like tangible solutions with it. So yeah, you're super valuable for that. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you for the kind words. What do you feel like has been the biggest aha moment that you've had? I've got a guess as to what it is.
Oh, really? Oh man,
Yeah.
there's been so many.
But I think there's one, for me, I think there's one thing, but I'll let you answer and then I'll.
Oh man, I don't even know. Like there's so many. Like I think I said, like when I got off the discovery call with you, I was like, this guy's going to change my life because it's just like the way that you see things and approach things. Oh man, I don't even know if I have like one aha moment. I guess. Oh man, this is hard. Sorry. You know what? I'm gonna go like kind of energetically on this and say like you kind of give people permission to ask for more and realize that they're capable of doing more. So it was like before as a designer, like I guess it didn't feel like it was a formula. It felt like there's a lot of opinion based. But the way you teach us, it was like there's actually a clear-cut solution through the woods. And if you just follow these steps, then you can get there.
Got it.
That seems ambiguous. What was your aha moment?
What I thought yours was going to be, I thought it was going to be, I think the biggest issue that you had coming in, where I found you quickly kind of made progress, is you were stuck in dichotomy between models, and it meant that you were moving at half the speed. And
that is true.
And then we kind of just got through a set of criteria where it was just blatantly obvious that this was the path, and then yeah, things kind of moved quicker. So that's, I mean, that was my educated guess.
No, that's a good survey. I forgot because I mean I'm on the ground for this stuff, but you're absolutely right. When I came into the program, I was like stuck between 3 different models. And a part of that was a bleeding heart or a bleeding sword, where it's like I saw these opportunities to help people and I felt like I had to, but it wasn't the right business model for me. When I kind of like shifted my beliefs around it, it really helped. And now I'm helping more people in more meaningful ways.
Yeah. And the way that we got there was not by just shamelessly just ignoring and deleting one. We actually pulled them apart and had a look at the math as to how effective the math in the business was going to be. And then it made obvious that one was silly from a return on investment standpoint. And now it sounds like you've figured out a way now to make the math work for that thing, So, so take us through some of the results that you've seen in implementing the thinking and the strategy. So take us through like the goals that you defined, because you sent me that awesome like messenger post, once you'd hit those goals, but take us through what you'd set out to achieve in the program and when and what had actually happened.
So for me, I don't think I was a quick study necessarily. I'm a bit stubborn and it took me a little bit to let go of those other models. Um, so when I did finally start exercising them, I set myself out tier one, tier two, tier three goals. And a big part of this had to do with like mindset and belief, because even though I know that what I do is valuable, there's a part of me that's always like, I guess I feel good in life. So I didn't necessarily feel like I needed to earn more money. Um, but then when I kind of dismissed that and I started applying this and actually doing like outreach and things like that, like it was just like a windfall for me, anyways, my version of windfall. So I reached my tier three goal. I don't know, I want to say 3 months after the program started, maybe 4. And it was, I mean, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty flabbergasting. I felt like it was an audacious goal when I set out, because I think it was equivalent to almost my entire year's salary in that, like as a designer the previous year. And I made that in 1 month. So that was pretty cool. And sorry, my memory is not great in terms of how I even like, I just remember like sitting down and being like, just follow the formula. Because I have a tendency, I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, to kind of try a few things and then go their own way, which like serves us in the long run, I think, because we have to explore and develop new ways. But it was the first time in my life where I was like, no, there's a formula. It works. It's working for these people. Just try it. So I did the outreach, even though it was like cringy and it didn't feel good.
It always does at the start. Yeah, there's no like, I know this is for other people to look at coming into the program. The outreach is hard to start with. It's hard, you know?
Yeah. I'm an actually outgoing person, but like the method of online outreach, because it's volume based, it didn't feel good for me at first. But I saw the value in it. And at the end of the day, like I knew it was the whole program, it came down to practice. It wasn't a matter of like a goal or achieving a milestone necessarily. It was like understanding that like going to the gym, if I just keep doing this every day, I'm going to keep getting better, and it's going to keep being easier and easier. So that's the mentality I approached with it. And it made it like, it diffused all of the overwhelm or any kind of anxiety around it. Cause I'm like, I suck at this now, but I'm not going to suck as bad at it in 3 months if I just keep doing it every day. And sure enough, it helped a lot. Yeah. And then since then, so I've kind of deviated from the program's like very clear cut structure. And for anybody that's listening to this, like just follow the program, you'll succeed pretty easy. I tend to be like a little bit curious and kind of go off in different directions, which may or may not serve me entirely. But right now, I'm working more on a model that kind of takes everything that you taught us, but I'm just applying it in different ways, which is still super valuable. Like had I not been in the program, I think that I'd be out here kind of doing things the way that everybody else is doing it, which is like sensationalist and like without a formula. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, and that kind of comes in, that ties nicely into the last question, which you're kind of already edging on. But the real goal of the program is not to teach people how to most effectively build a business model that sells design services. It's really teaching people that you need to be able to sell in a vacuum where you're the only one offering something that solves a valuable problem better than anybody in the marketplace. And if that means that we move in a direction that's away from traditional design business model, then whatever's required to make sure that we hit the entrepreneurial business and sales and marketing fundamentals. And so take me through kind of how has what you've learned so far in the program changed the way that you approach how you move forwards? So yeah, feel free to kind of shed a bit more light into the direction you're heading in and why you're heading in that direction, and based on what, like what values or what principles. Sorry, that's a big question. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Big question. Get philosophical here for a second. Okay. So I think the summation of that is, so what I learned coming out of the program or in the program rather is really how to look at the market in terms of value perspectives. And then also myself as an energy system, like what can I handle? So I know you kind of plotted out, like, you know, if you want an XK a month, you kind of need to start looking at an agency model, right? So for me, I recognize I'm like, okay, I'm capable of doing this much. And for me personally, I felt bottlenecked at the fact that I wanted to help more people and I still wanted to earn more money. And I personally didn't want to take on the agency model. It just wasn't something that really like lit me up right now anyways. So instead I looked at it, how can I serve as many people as possible, offer as much value as possible, and reduce my effect as a bottleneck. So what I did, because I've got a developer background, I just started developing a product, like an online service essentially just a directory, for lack of better words, that solved most of my clients and most of my market's problems. So when I looked at my market, I recognized that a lot of them had a problem with like outreach and getting seen and standardization. Like they were all over the place. And on a case by case basis, clients were coming to me investing between, you know, $5,000 and $10,000 to help build them a sense of like identity online and something that would work to generate them money. But there's a lot of money up front, and some of their business models, I mean, I have to believe in what my clients are doing. With some of their models, I wasn't completely sure about. And I felt bad taking that much money from them without being sure that it was going to regenerate that much money for them. So instead, I thought, how can I solve as many of these problems in a more economical way? So I worked with a business partner to develop like an online directory and kind of like an ongoing marketing system that makes it a lot easier for people to handle their own needs. So what I took from the program was the outreach was really helpful. So I kind of went like underground for a little bit and just started developing this thing and like building it out. I'm at beta testing now. And now I kind of have this like inspired sense of confidence where it's like before the program, I would say, quote unquote, good ideas and a way of developing value for the market, but I would lack the confidence in terms of like, is everybody else going to see this value? Like, am I way off the mark, you know? But now I know that like there's a way I can approach the market in terms of outreach and volume and just start like communicating that to them. And then, for lack of better words, enticing them back to try it out and then build value on top of that. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but I took what I learned from the program and I applied it in a way that's like, I genuinely want to make things easier for my marketplace. I want to make more value for them. And I feel like you gave us like the really clear-cut way to kind of get through the woods anytime that we develop a prototype or like an offer for the market. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You did a lot. It's hard to put that all into just one answer.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. But I thought your answer was very good in the context of like the direction you're heading in. But to be honest, like the real profitability and money is in taking considerable advances away from the epicenter of the design space, which is exactly what you're doing. And everybody in the program, the real hyper profitable, like guys doing multi-six and seven-figure guys in the program, they're converging their design skill set with other industry skills. And that's just the world we live in, you know? So yeah, you've kind of, you know, the aim of the program is to give you the navigational equipment to go through and orienteer in your own direction based on your wide tool belt and toolkit of skills, and put something together that doesn't fit in to a commoditized fashion, you know? So
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, really good insights, Mel. Thank you so much for
taking
the
building the
time
program.
Yeah, totally.
Developing all those insights from the ground up and sharing them with us.
Yeah, well, it was basically, excuse the French, it was fucking up and learning from fuck ups.